What is up, YouTube world? Collecting goals video. I'm gonna go through the 2020 goals to the best of my rememberings, and shoot through those pretty quick. I won't list off the list of players I want to get out of because it's fairly long, and I only got, I think, 2. So I'll mention them and then go from there. But number 1 goal last year was 10 JJ 101s Josh Johnson. I may have come close to that. I was able to get 2 superfractors. 3, I think, and Michael Phillips helped me with on I think 2011 Bowman Platinum patch auto. Not in hand, he still got it. We're the stuff we want to give each other. We want to do that in person. Hopefully, again, that's a 2021 goal. So hopefully that's going to happen at some point here in this calendar year. Number 2 was get I don't know if it was like 3 or 4 of the following autos. I only got out of it was like Terry Bradshaw. And I don't know if I got a Steve Van Buren cut. I don't remember if I did, because if I would have, it would have been January, February, possibly March. But after that, I know I didn't. Because I mean, there's Hank Aaron, Pujols, Ted Williams, Jim Thorpe, Emmett Smith, Cole Papa Bell, Pujols, Trout, Reggie White, Nagurski, Chamberlain, which that's a pipe dream, Timmy Duncan, Ernie Nevers, Tom Landry, Bill Russell, DiMaggio, Maddox, and Madden, Bobby Lane. I'm trying to read my writing, it's horrible. Julius Peppers, I've been outbid many a time. Willie Mays, Puckett, Ichiro, and Kobe. Kobe should have been last pick up the first month of the year. Now those are not in Jordan territory, but it's going to take a bit of a step back of the usual collecting way and then divert funds to that. Continue to organize. I did that. I was fairly cognizant and streamlined towards that, but again, there's still a ton to do. That's always going to be, as a collector, you bring stuff in, organization is going to be paramount. Grade more cards, we all know how that went. First part of the year, you probably could do it, but then after that, it's the backlog is just too tremendous, and I'm not going to pay exorbitant fees to get some of the stuff done. I want to get more of the vintage stuff encapsulated, just in case the time comes, whenever that time is, that you see it's a graded whatever instead of just a raw card where it can be more easily moved. Get more kid cards, the 92 Elite Ripken auto, which I think was maybe one of the autos I had. That was one that I was able to do and get, even though it wasn't super high grade, but it was the Ripken auto I wanted. So paid more, but it's the card I wanted. Complete 5 Insert Revolution card sets. I don't know if I did. It seems like I did with everything I picked up last year, but I didn't buy the 92 Bowman baseball set. I came close many a time on doing that. I still haven't. That's one that's going to be for the next year. I don't have written down, but that's one that I want to fulfill that goal. Acquire more of the late 90s, early 2000s to mid 2000s of Hall of Famer patches. Did some of that, not as much as I did the previous couple years, but again, that market, it didn't dry up, but what was out there, it was more expensive. And again, I don't mind paying up a little, but I'm not going to pay 2, 3, 4 times what they were going for. And the one I think I did the best was have more contact with folks that are like-minded, and that obviously was a grand slam, as Steve said the other night on the podcast that day. That was, I don't think I have contacted or was in contact with as many people as it was last year, so that that's always a goal that I like to keep and grow upon and expand upon, that you should always have that in this hobby instead of being where in regular life I love to be a hermit because I hate people, but on here with the group of guys I think we've surrounded ourselves with. When I say we, I see Steve and I, and a lot of the guys that are like-minded. It's fun to throw those ideas off each other. If you have a conundrum, a purchase that you're trying to make, because again, we don't have everybody next door or in a town where we're at, or there's an LCS with a bunch of guys that have the same philosophy or close to the same philosophy that we have, that we can just go to with questions, conversations, criticisms, comments, whatever. So to constantly have that, or to have that as a something that we can do through here, through texting, through the live streaming game, it helps. It helps, especially last year where, again, as shitty as the year was overall, collecting wise, I don't think you'll find any other collector out there, from the folks that collect high end, the folks that are going through, maybe these people, the folks that are going through like the dime boxes at a show. When you don't have the shows to go to, you can't do that. But most collectors, I'd say a good majority would say probably it's one of their best years of all time, because of things coming out of the woodwork. Because other old collectors are just like, you know what, I don't collect anymore, I got all this stuff sitting, I'm reading on the news, in the paper, wherever, that, oh my god, cards are going absolutely bonkers, I'm gonna sell them, may as well sell them, get some money, put it towards other endeavors and hobby related stuff, or as one of our famous YouTube Hall of Fame collectors in the community did, get a new bed with some of those discretionary funds. So do what you have to do. If there's stuff that's hot that you aren't attached to, and it can bring you back a huge ROI, do it. Don't sit and hope for more. I'm glad I got rid of that Siakam PSA 10. I don't think it's anywhere near what that was in August, so I wasn't attached to it. I was able to get a lot of stuff that I wanted for it, a lot of stuff that I hold dear to my collection. So do that. The bottom was buy and sell some stuff, or no, buy from the same seller and stop buying non-essential cards. Yeah, I did better on that. I was off Facebook for most of the year because of the fucking election and all that bullshit. I didn't want to hear anybody speak about what they cared about and what viewpoints they had. It just didn't matter to me. So not being part of those auction groups, it sucked. Probably missing out on some bigger cards that I would have enjoyed, but at the same time that allowed me to have sort of a semi-laser focus towards eBay and towards what I picked up last year, which I'm super stoked with and super thrilled with. So, and do you share knowledge, don't judge. Last part I've been guilty of once or twice maybe in the past. I try to share knowledge. It just depends who's listening. And I'm glad the people that listen don't ever take that for granted. There's times you want to have a bigger reach because you feel your knowledge isn't being minimalized, but at the same point, I know my style isn't for everyone. I swear quite a bit. I don't care. That's just who I am. I'm not going to change to put on an appearance for people. That's not ever going to happen. I mean, if it's a detriment to any success or whatever I have hobby-wise, so be it. The people that know me know that I have a pretty good reach of hobby knowledge, and that swath continuously grows because you're always learning. So we're about 9.5 minutes in. We'll get to the 2021 goals. I sort of changed them up. Usually it's I need these certain cards, and the past year it's not like awakening or any of that shit. It's just, it helps having a year like this where there's a skeleton crew of shows, a skeleton crew of any events. I mean, there's nothing going on, so the conversations are the big hobby takeaway of the year. So the first one's continue having fun and learning. Again, that's not to rip off of Eric, those back pages, But that if you're not in the hobby and you're not having fun and you're not learning, you don't need to be in the hobby. It's if it's a business, a straight business, keep over in a different lane. That's the stuff I don't want to deal with. There. So number 2, keep continuing to build relationships. Which again, that's what 2020 will be remembered hobby wise for me. Building friendships, building relationships, knowing people. Beginning of the year, I had no fucking clue who they were. A lot of the crew that's in the Instant Revolution podcast, chat room or whatever it is, the comments as the show goes on. I didn't have any contact with them. Steve, I know, didn't. And now you look at some of the guys, Vinny, Paul, Ed. We talked, but I mean, it wasn't like huge. Like this year, we've gotten closer. Bob Lewis closer. Carlos, beginning of the year, I had no fucking clue who he was until February, until somebody decided to buy or burn some cards and tell people how their money should be spent. And Jeremy, I've seen him pop in once or twice. I didn't know him. I knew him from a Hobby Insider. His show's blown up. I'm trying to think. Amit. Again, a lot of these guys, if I forgot you, don't take any don't take it as a slight. Dr. Exclusive Joe. There's just so many people. Cardman Joe. I mean, there's some people we've seen on there too that have came out of the woodwork. Sictifer was on there for a couple shows, chatting away, and that's what I like. I like getting Fight on 5-2 James. Joey's been on there. Brad, we got Brad on there, and I love that because I want to get. The one thing I'll say I think I do best on here, and if you disagree, put it in the comments. If not, thumbs down. I don't care. I try to bring folks that aren't normally in contact with each other together, that are my friends. I know on the one show we had Bob, Lewis Matt from the Essential Credentials and Poke Checking Cards, I think, his new hockey channel. Myself and Steve. Steve didn't know, I mean, he knew of them, of course, but it's not like he was on any streams with them. I don't think Bob and Matt were on any streams. No, Bob's been on Matt's channel like 3-4 times in the past like 2 months. So, Mark, Stove Sports, Jason, Zombie Collector. Again, if you've got your bingo board out, you're probably screaming bingo by now. It's been a good year. A good year for relationships, a good year for having people that really weren't interwoven in the hobby connect. And I love that. Again, as much as there's people that I can't stand, the fact that there's a lot of people that they consider me a friend or not, I consider them. I can be on a JT, one of his shows. I can be on with Bob and Mark. I can have a show with Steve, or we can have a show together with like Ed and Carlos, who again, they I don't believe before this year they were really introduced to each other, and it's something I like. I that's one thing I actually am proud of. Being sort of the conduit to like, hey, this guy over here, that he sort of has the same collecting philosophy. Let's see what he's about, and then everything comes together. I like that. I like where people don't have to be so narrow-minded with their collecting focus, and there's sometimes that people do. It's not a knock on them. It's just, if you can expand your book by one chapter, that chapter could be the best chapter in your book, because you're not looking at it from your viewpoint. You're taking somebody else's viewpoint, them explaining it, then you can see it for yourself. So again, a long rambling diatribe there, so that doesn't make any sense. But again, continue the Insert Revolution podcast. If stuff lifts, it doesn't matter. We're still gonna. I'll speak for Steve on this. We're still gonna do that. It's fun. It's like blog TV without the PMs, which sucks. But I'd like to get a few more guys on there. I know Steve wants to get some more people on there too. We're always open to having people on their discussion. I think as much as we want to at some point get the non-limitation, non-cap, minutes-wise or hours-wise package, the 4 people at a time, I think works the best. So Steve and I, and then whoever we have on as a guest, but it seems to work the best, and we're gonna go with that, I think, unless, again, it just depends, but 4 seems to be the key number. Card wise, so subscribe to the new Insert Revolution podcast YouTube channel. That's where the podcasts will be from now on. Everything is uploaded there, not in order episode wise, but that's fine. We'll take care of that and we'll figure that out. But that's where it's all at right now, and that's where every Tuesday at 7:05 Central Time. We're gonna try to cap, I think, at 3 hours. We've talked about it before, but I think if we do it 3 hours, give or take, I don't want to do too much over, because I have yet to talk to Steve about them, but there's a couple ideas I want to fling past, or we can have like another show or two, more of a recorded show, and just get some information out there, either about fellow collectors or about a specific set of cards. So we'll try. It's a lot of things percolate up here. I know it's a shock. It's not just swear words, and burps and farts, but 5 JJ 101s. 5 JJ 101s would be a goal. It'd be nice to find some even plates, just come down in price, because there's a few on ComC that are expensive, and I don't want to spend that. Even throwing in the cent offer, it shows just an offer of whatever the current price is will be accepted. I'm not paying $50 for a plate. Continue to organize, sell a bit more. That's always going to be a goal, no matter what. If there's stuff that I don't care about, doesn't have an attachment to me, is white hot, why not strike while the iron's hot? That way those funds can be transferred into either a new bed, fixing up a ceiling, or a new moped, or a hover round, so I don't have to walk at the National, and then or cards. We can offset a big purchase, and then instead of paying a large fee or a large price, kick back some of that, and knocks it off the price, and then you can pay a more reasonable price and feel better about yourself for not paying a huge price out of pocket. Get 3 of the following Brodeur cards. I've got a partial list. I'd like to get 96-97 Select Certified Mirror Gold, 97-98 Pinnacle Totally Certified Gold, or the Platinum Mirror Platinum. Gold's to 59, Platinum's to 25. I'm trying to think what else. There's a 98-99 Black Diamond Quad to 100. I love that. The Atomic Refractor out of 98-99 Bowman's Best to 100. The Mirror Image with Jose Theodore to 25. The Atomic Refractor. I'd even take the refractor version to 100. What else? Check my list to see if there's. I've been making the list, but I want to. The Black Diamond 98-99, the Winning Formula Platinum to 43. That's the wins he had in 97-98. So that one's a key one too. Kramer's Choice. I've got a couple of those I still need to get. The 98-99, 2000, 2001, and 01, 02, and that's to 49. Some of the Upper Deck exclusives inserts to 100 I'd like to pick up. I don't think he's got, I'm just going to quickly leaf through here. He's got not many minutes left. See if there's any set that jumps out. I don't think there will be though. Oh, the Ultimate Victory, or the Upper Deck Ultimate Victory. What is it called? The one I just got the other day of. What's his name? I can't even think. Going off the rails. Oh, Superscripts. That would be another one. Any of the Superscripts. Even to a lesser extent the Gold Scripts. Some of the Pacific patches too. From 02 and 02, 03, and 03, 04. And then Pacific parallels. So, especially the Revolution premiere dates, like to get those knocked off. And 7, this will be the final one. Human interaction. Even if it's got to be at like some shop somewhere where we can all sort of congregate, even if it's not all of us, just somewhere where a handful can get together and talk cards, talk shop. Hopefully, a national goes on. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I don't know if it's going to happen. And then I'd like to go up to Toronto, but that depends on Canada and opening the borders and the U.S. getting their shit together, which doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon. So that's it. 2020 review and 2021 goals video. So if you haven't made one, make one. You don't need to stick by it, but at least you have some semblance of what you have in mind at the beginning of the year. You can look back at the end of the year and say, hey, I did this or I didn't do this, and I should have done this. In retrospect, like the Kobe auto for me, it's a big kick in the balls. So have fun, YouTube. Take her easy. She's easy.